All right, let's get started. About 3 minutes into the intro. Let's get going. Let's do some malware. Let's see. Okay, mic's going. One of my biggest fears is one of these days I'm gonna get like 2 hours into a stream, and my mic is gonna be off. I'm gonna be just devastated. Today, we're working on C2 stuff. But before we do that, let me thank Anomalous for following on Twitch, twitch.tv/Valhalla_dev. Thank you, Anomalous. No Perspective for subscribing on YouTube, twitch.tv/@ValhallaDev. I think that's how they do it. GG Reversing for following on Twitch, Cold Rivers for following on Twitch, and Swesty for following on Twitch. Thank y'all. Y'all are the bomb. So, today we're going to be doing some C2 stuff, which means I need to boot up a VM, which means something could very well go wrong again with my VMs, because it seems like just about every stream something does. So, let me get rid of the useless screen, and let's pull up code. Let's hope it doesn't pop up anything that it shouldn't. That's my AOC stuff. Let's pop open documents, RE stuff somewhere, RE stuff, Rusty Wolf. Is that not in, I guess it's not in my C2 folder, is it? Let's see. Maybe it's in Wolf. Yeah, it's in Wolf. So let's open that up, and we're gonna open up the Rusty Wolf folder in another window. Let's see, new window. Not gonna mess around with Vim right now because I screwed up my Vim RC file just badly. So I need to fix that at some point, and that does not make for a good stream whatsoever. Okay, so that's our Rusty Wolf. Let's open up our VM. How's everybody doing? It's been a bit. I took off all week last week, which was good. I enjoyed the time off. Got to spend time with family. It's always fun. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. That's interesting. Am I getting some lag? Is that what is happening? How does it look to everybody else? Not entirely sure why anything would be going wrong with OBS, but I wouldn't at all be surprised. All right. Pop open our VM here. Let's make sure that we've got, what in the world? Oh, is our VM going to be annoying exactly like I said? Y'all remember? Who remembers? Sometimes it's full screen mode that jacks things up. It looks like that's what is going on here. View. Scaled? Nope. There we go. All right, so yeah, this is the right one. Ask me later. I do need to upgrade this VM for sure. All right, so we've got our backend C2 part open. Let's make sure that this is the right, it's actually mounted correctly. Test.text. And if we pop over, okay, so we've got code open there. But we're gonna use code on here. Let's see if we can see test.text in our C2 file. Uh-oh. Run C2/backend. Let's close it here so we don't get confused. Yeah, it's looking like we may have something wrong here. sys/embed c2. Huh. So I have no idea what this c2 thing is. Oh my gosh, fat fingers. Home local devlog c2 backend. So that theoretically should be the exact same folder on my host. Already dealing with stupid issues here. Test.txt is there, api.py is there. So it looks like I may have, so that's init.py. See if it's in a different folder that I'm not aware of. Oh, I bet it's here. Should see app.py data. Nope, that's not it either. I guess I could just look in here, settings. Let's see. Shared folders. We have no shared folders. So this is a completely separate folder. Cool. That's not going to cause any issues down the line at all. Totally did that on purpose. All right, so we've got a couple of choices here. I can wrangle with, why am I having streaming issues on YouTube now? Restream is having problems. Apparently Restream is just not sending it back to YouTube well, is what I'm seeing right now. Nothing I can do. How does it look to everybody else? Again, I can't really tell how the stream actually looks. YouTube is telling me it doesn't look good though. Hopefully it looks all right. Not too much I can do here. What up, Bibinho? Bilbinho? Something like that on YouTube. How's it going? All right, we're just gonna use the one that's already on the VM, and I'll have to sync the files off stream because I just don't feel like dealing with that right now. All right, so we've got api.py. We've got getvic, getvix, ping. All of that should work fine. What we are going to do is an addvic. So what we want to do is add to this dictionary right here. So are we pulling in that dictionary yet? We've got our data dir. No, we are not. So this right here is not what we want to do. We don't want to just have a straight up post file. That's just a little hacky. You can do better than that. All right, I have a vague feeling that the YouTube stream does not look good. People are bouncing off like crazy right now. So I don't really know what to do about that. Add a new victim. Add app.post. Keep up, dude. What's up, OX on YouTube? How's it going? Add vic. Def. Add vic. I already have an add vic function. Yep, I sure do. So that's not a terrible iteration of it, but we're gonna do better. All right, so it's going to take in, let's actually see how I was doing that. A vic. Victim. So cool thing about Fast API, which is what I'm using for our C2 backend, is that it allows for typing. Basically similar to TypeScript. which is just uber useful for all kinds of different applications, but especially when you're dealing with kind of structured data like we will be. So it's going to basically enforce this being the correct data model. So if we look up here, we actually create the class up here. Let's see, right here. So we're creating the class here. And we're actually able to obviously add different functions on that. So this toDict is just basically converting the victim class to a normal dictionary, like a normal Python dictionary. Super useful, obviously. And what this will do is when I make a post request to the advic endpoint, then it's going to enforce the data model. Basically, if something is sent that does not like match this data model, then it's going to throw an error. And that's super useful because basically if you don't have this kind of data model enforcement, then you could be sending data that's just not formatted correctly. Either a field is wrong or something like that is wrong, and you won't know how to fix it because it won't return any kind of useful errors. So this will enforce that data model to make sure that when we send victims to the endpoint, it is sending them usefully. So let's do curvix is equal to getVix. So that's going to fetch the current victims, just going to read the whole blob. So it's basically going to read this whole blob, and right here, we are interested in the victims key. And what we want to do is we want to create a victim object that is going to hold all of the useful information in it. So like I said, this right here is the data model that we've got thus far. We've got an IP address that's fairly easy to pull off, a last ping, which is pretty easy to pull off, a first ping, which is very easy to pull off, an ID. We're going to have to decide how to do that, and we can add things to this data model at will. So if I decide to add a username, or if I decide to add like OS information, then it's very, very simple, very easy to do that. So let's go in here, and we're going to add a victim. So let's do vic.to_dict, and we're going to hold that in vicdict, which is just a hysterical name, dict equals vic.toDict, and we're going to do curvix.add, no, it's not add dot, oh man, dot push, right? Push vicdict. And then we are going to do, we should have a write dix, or write vix. We don't. I think I may have gotten rid of it on accident. So def post vix. Do I already have that? Probably do. Let's just do def write vix, and we'll have a let's see, obj, which is going to be an object with a vix dictionary in it, but we don't want to, let's not bother with the data type there. And we're going to do with open data dir plus victims.json. We want to write to it as f. We are going to do f.write obj. And then it will close automatically. So all that's going to do is actually write our object out to file. Nothing complex there, nothing super cool there, just that's about it. So technically this should work if our malware is actually sending in the correct format. That's going to be the part that we also have to work on this side. We're working on the C2, but in order to get the C2 to work, we have to get the actual malware itself to send everything in the right format. So you can't just work on the C2 in that sense. So we're just going to skip down here and return. Oh, we also have to do write vix. We're going to make an object with No, we're not going to do it this way. Let's make it a little bit cleaner. JS is equal to this. Victims. Curvex. And then we are going to, let's see. Let's do the JSON loads, I think. I'm a little scrambled right now. But I think it's loads that we want. And we are going to do, right, Vix, JS. Oh man, I'm over here pressing like escape like I'm using NeoVim because that's just who I am as a person now. What's up, Twitch? How's everybody doing? Is the music too loud? Shouldn't be. I've got it turned down like lower than I normally have it. Okay. So we're writing everything out. Let's return a status success. And let's just return back the victim object. Message victim obj vic. All right. So what this is going to do is upon initially connecting to our C2. Let's just pretend like this malware is just now, infecting a system. It is going to hit the add_vic endpoint with this post that has a certain amount of information. So obviously it's got to gather that information first. We could go ahead and write a ping, honestly, or we could go ahead and run a ping first instead of running the add_vic endpoint. But we're not going to do that. We're going to run the add_vic endpoint, and that's just going to throw all of our information into our database, which is just a JSON file. So we have to make sure that the malware itself actually works with that, like in that regard. So kind of off topic, but did you get OSCP? LOL, no. So OSCP. For those of you who have not been following the channel too long, obviously Bilbino has been following it for a while because I haven't done anything OSCP related in a bit. I attempted the OSCP twice now. Any anti-analysis techniques? Save that question for a sec. I'm going to hit that question after I answer the OSCP question. I tried the OSCP, I want to say twice. It may have been 3 times. Failed it at least twice. The first time I failed the exam. The second time I didn't even attempt it because basically I didn't commit enough time to it. I just like on a whim decided to do it again, dropped too much money and failed it again. Am I going to do it again later? Maybe. So there's a weird part of this, honestly, and this is me being very honest as a hashtag content creator. The OSCP was incredible for my channel. Like anything that had OSCP in the title was just a banger. Like everybody watched it. So part of me is like tempted to like retake the OSCP for the like content, which is the stupidest possible thing. The other part of it is I'm a software developer now, so the OSCP isn't super useful for me. I don't necessarily need it for my job, so I can't get my job to pay for it, so I'd be paying for it out of pocket again, and I've now done that twice. And I think it's actually gotten more expensive, hasn't it? Let's see. Let's pull up the OSCP pricing. Product pricing. Oh, they've got, I forgot they're doing the SaaS shit with the OSCP now. So the course insert bundles starting at $1,500. So that's probably going to be like the minimal amount of lab time, which hint, hint, you don't want to do at all. And that's starting at $1,500. Now, since they're doing this SaaS shit, fundamental 100 level course to get prepared for our advanced courses. Learn 1 year of lab access plus 2 exam attempts for 1 selected course. That's not bad at all. So you get, this is not going to turn into an OSCP ad because I've got issues with it. But you pay $2,000 for an entire year of lab access, 2 exam attempts for 1 course. So you're paying $500 extra to get lab access for an entire year, which is a long ass time. Oh, but that's a New Year's sale. Okay, so it's normally a lot more. Now this is for the homies who are super dedicated and want to just drop $5,500 for an entire year of, I guess, unlimited exam attempts for 1 year for your employee. Oh, so that's probably enterprise level stuff. So to answer your question, I did not get the OSCP. I might redo it again. Probably not, but I might. Anti-analysis techniques, we're going to get there. We're not there yet, but we're gonna. That's a promise that I shouldn't have made. But we're definitely going to try to get there at least. I think it's on the roadmap that I wrote out in an earlier video. Okay, so theoretically, we've got everything in place here. We've got our advic endpoint that takes in a certain data model, and it will write it out to our victim.json. So now we have to return to our malware and make sure that this is implemented. So we've got our registry ops, don't need to worry about that, main.rs. Okay, so let's go to our netlib code. That's what we really want. Okay, so let me get kind of acclimated to the code again. One of the things that I really want to work on, honestly, is working on Rusty Wolf outside of streaming a little bit more often, because I keep having to come back to the code and kind of like reacclimate myself to it, which isn't great. Kind of takes a little time, lots of context switching there. Okay, so if we go to our main.rs file, let's shrink this down a bit. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. Let's see, preferences, settings. Let's make the text a little bit larger. Let's do 18. Is there a save button somewhere on here? Good God. Did that do it? Yeah, that did it. Okay. Text should be a little bit larger. Hopefully y'all can see that a little better. So within our main, right now we don't need that. What is this? So that's all of our message box A stuff. Don't necessarily need that. rt.block on netlib send username. Okay, so right now we're just sending the username. So if we go over to our netlib, which is here, don't need to worry about our reg ops right now. If we go over to our netlib, we've got a send username. Send username is sending it to the /username endpoint, and we are returning the string returnable, which is the result. Okay. So what we want to do now is make another function. Don't need to worry about this. Our send ping we don't necessarily need. Might be able to get rid of this, I think. Let's see. Cargo run. See if it throws a fit about that. Right, got our hello world. We've got our bug that we're gonna fix on Wednesday. Let's see if it hits. Yep, it hit. That currently doesn't do anything with our username, I think. /username. Received username. Yeah, it doesn't do anything, which is fine. This one is going to do something with it. So we are going to get rid of this, and we are going to do a pub async function fn. I think I got the, yeah. And we are going to do init commit. We're going to return a string. And let's just do let mute ret equal to string new. Still pressing escape to why is it having an issue there? I haven't written Rust in like a day. Considering consider returning the, oh, I am. Right. Okay, so that's not throwing any more fits. Should be good on that end. So let's comment out what we want to do. First, we want to get the username. Probably going to pass that in from main. So let's see what our regops is returning. Grab username is returning a result string. Okay. So here we're just going to take a username of type string. And so we've got the username, that's fine. We want to create the object, so that's just going to be a hash map. So we're going to need a hash map. How am I sending that up here? Plus URI, JSON, and map. Okay, so this is how we're doing it here. I believe it's, yeah, it's with a hash map. Map.insert message. Okay, so this is super easy. So let JS, which is of type hash map, and it's a hash map of strings, equal to hash map new. All right, so let's copy over our data model. See if I've got copy between VMs. So if we copy over a data model, probably don't have copy turned on. Oh, sure don't. Okay, so we've got a IP, last ping, first ping, ID. So IP, last ping, first ping, ID. Okay, why don't you change to C#? It would be interesting to see. I hate C#, it's too much like Java, if you want an honest answer. I worked a little bit with C# when I was doing Unity, not Udemy, but Unity stuff. Didn't like it, reminded me way too much of my Java days. And frankly, it seems like most malware right now is being written in C++, Rust, Go. I think there's C# malware out there. I'm not, like, I guess, familiar enough with all of the malware to know. But I think sticking with, like, the major languages, honestly, is more interesting and more useful. So that's pretty much the reason why I'm doing that. What problem is it having here? Oh, come on, dude. Let's go up here. Okay, I guess we can just leave out the type and let it get it implicitly. Yep. We can make this mute. Still has a problem with that. But mute map had no problem up here. But now it's got a problem with it. Why does it have a problem with it? Considering giving JS an explicit type, the type for parameter K is specified. Why would I do that? I've coded malware encryptors in C# and still useful, but you can't interact with most of the low-level stuff, so it's very limited in that way, but you can still bypass AV, EDR. Yeah, so I know cryptors, you're entirely right. There are cryptors that are absolutely written in C#. That I do know. I'm not familiar enough with C# and I'm not familiar enough with C# to know why a lot of cryptors are written in C#. I imagine it's honestly because it's a lot like Java, and people know how to kind of manipulate data in Java. So I've got this kind of weird dream in my head, and this is going to sound super stupid, but I've got this weird dream in my head where I work on a project and try to implement as many programming languages as humanly possible within that project. I'm thinking about making this that project. I might not end up doing that, but I'm thinking about it. Just kind of for the meme and to show that you can include like tons of different languages within a given project. Like right now for work, I'm working on a project that it's Rust, React.js, obviously HTML and CSS within React.js. It's got Python in it. The backend, I believe, is in Python. And I think there's something else. I can't remember what it is. There's another language in there somewhere. There's like 4 or 5 different languages in the one project. It's ending up being an absolute just beast of a project, but you know, it's essentially following that, like, you know, let's include as many languages as possible for the meme. Okay, so we don't yet have the IP, which might be a fun little side project. I didn't realize that I didn't have that yet. The last ping and first ping will be easy. The ID will probably just use the username. Okay, so Nicholas, straight up, you don't necessarily need to use that many programming languages. I think it probably would be better if I didn't, honestly. But, you know, it's kind of a learning experience, and it is working fairly efficiently. But, you know, that's beside the point. Anyways, appreciate it. Okay, so we need to grab the IP. Let's figure out a way to do that within the Windows API. I did not expect this little side project to pop up, but it makes sense that it did. All right, there's my metrics for my blog. I'm sure y'all are interested in that. Windows API IP address. How to get the local IP address of Windows system. We don't want the local, we want the public. We could technically, so if we pop over to the data model, right now the data model is expecting the IP to be in here. It would actually be a lot easier to grab the IP on the back end. So let's go ahead and do it that way. So instead, we're gonna grab the IP on the back end and write it out. So let's not worry about the IP here. This is our data model. So we just need the last ping, first ping, and ID. Frankly, we don't need the last ping either, because if we're initially adding the victim here, the last ping and the first ping are going to be the exact same. So we really just need first ping and ID. So what we're going to do is we're going to do time and ID. So let's go back. This isn't what I wanted. We actually can close that out. And let's pop over here. Let's just do time, which is going to be a string, and the ID. And we're going to take this stuff out. ID and time. Oh, I missed Vim. I know I can use the keybinds and code, but I haven't done that yet. Time. All right. It's your choice, mate. Do you think Rust is more safe for coding than C++? I've never done coding in Rust, so I don't know that much. Straight up, yes. The memory safety issue within Rust is like amazing. Basically, the Rust scopes and lifetimes, they don't eliminate like memory access bugs in their entirety, but they massively reduce them, and they make it difficult for you to write unsafe code. You can still do it, but it makes it more difficult, and that's why I think Rust is going to be used more often in system programming in the future, because basically it takes the stupidity a little bit more out of the developer's hands. But Go does garbage collection too, so let me find my video on this because I have one. Studio.youtube.com. Let me find my video on Rust lifetimes. It's not just the most amazing video I've ever made, but it's aight. So here's the video. I'll post it here, and I'll post it in Twitch chat for all 2 of you watching on Twitch. So basically, garbage collection adds a certain level of inefficiency. So there's like an overhead involved with garbage collection that slows your program down, and garbage collection is also imperfect and therefore has bugs. So you're going to run into like issues there. Rust is also good for poly-meta code. Yep, that's 100% true. I have not gotten good enough with Rust to do that, but it is good. But basically, the way Rust handles it is a lot faster, and basically you don't need garbage collection because of the way Rust does scoping and memory safety. So that's kind of the difference between that and garbage collection. It seems hard to learn, yes. Less hard to learn than C, C++. 110%, period. Like, I won't say there's no comparison, because they both are difficult, but there's close to no comparison. I mean, they're just fantastic languages. Or Rust is a fantastic language. Just C, C++ is a fucking disaster. Okay. I think we fixed that up. We did not reboot our C2, so I'm gonna have to remember to do that. So all we're worried about is the time and the ID. So Rust time, I need to figure that out. Rust timestamp string. Converting Unix timestamp to readable time string. There we go. From, oh, it's literally datetime? Nice. Oh, that looks like a mess. Let's not worry about that. Datetime and chrono. That looks like what we want. I just want the current date, y'all. Like, why is this not the first thing on here? Rust current time stamp to string. Get the current timestamp in milliseconds. Exactly what we need. We want most recent version. Since the epoch. There we go. You can use system time and Unix epoch. All right, let's just hippity hoppity, your code is my property. Actually, we're going to throw this into a helper function. Function get time. This is going to return, hopefully, a string. Let's start equals system time now. Let's since the epoch equals start. Quick fix. There we go. Don't need that. That should never happen. Well, I guess it might happen someday. Shouldn't ever happen, but whatever. So since the epoch equals start, dot duration since the Unix epoch, dot expect that. And we are going to return since the epoch. What type is that? Expected string found struct duration. Convert the duration dot as sex. Oh, that is messy looking code. Okay. That should be returning what we're looking for. Come on, dude. VS Code is the best worst IDE ever. These hint pop-ups are a disaster. Okay. Let ret equal to that. And we're going to return ret. Let's see what ret's type is. Expected string, found U64. So we're going to do ret parse u64. No, that's not what we're looking for. String parse, no. Is it just ret dot toString? Bingo. It's always that simple. When in doubt, to string it out, y'all. So that will get us our time. So js.insert time. We want double quotes time. Get time. Didn't like that apparently. Dot unwrap. No, should be unwrapped. Mismatch type, expected unit type. That found enum option string. What? Oh, I just didn't have a semicolon, so it thought that I was trying to return that. Duh. All right, so we've got our time in. Now we just need our ID. So we're gonna make the ID. We're going to do let ID is equal to string from. Let's see. Let's store time. To let time equal that. We're going to do our username. Why is all of this in the wrong function? What the hell? Okay. Now we're gonna have to yank all that out. What happened? I just completely destroyed this. So let's grab all of this now. Oh, that's super annoying. So now we've got to undo until this. That makes me angry. So let's grab. I just threw all of this in the wrong function, and now I've got to figure out what was in that function. I think it's ret is equal to that. Oh, this is super annoying. Why did I do that? This is all supposed to be here. Hashmap.new, js.insert. Okay, I'm gonna try this. Pavel. Yeah, I know a little bit of Cyrillic. Work virus. What's going on, man? js.insert. So let's do time up here. Let time is equal to get time. Going to insert time and time. Then we're going to do let ID is equal to string from, and we're going to do time plus username. Let's see if we can concatenate those two that easily. I tend to doubt it. So let's do dot to string. I think it's to.str. Maybe it's as underscore string. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. And time also dot as str. It does annoy me that it's dot to underscore string and dot as underscore str. Like, why? That just doesn't need to be that way. I guess I gotta dot to underscore owned. It's moved at 73. Oh. Okay, so now we're dealing with borrow checker shit. So this does need to be dot as underscore str. Here, let's just yoink all of this out. Oh, we can't. Okay. So I was thinking let's yoink all of that out and throw it into a variable, but that's literally what I'm trying to do right here. Twitch chat is dead tonight. People don't like watching malware development on Twitch. They like it on YouTube, but not on Twitch. My main audience is on YouTube anyways, so that doesn't help Twitch, but I've got a grand total of 431 folks following me over on Twitch, which I was almost proud about. All right, so let's wrestle with the borrow checker here. String concatenation requires an own string on the left. Time dot to underscore owned. And then it's going to have issues because it was moved up here. Be right back. I think my daughter just woke up. Okay, now we're back. Appreciate it, Darko. We're going to be doing a couple of streams this week. 3. So Wednesday, we're going to be doing some more malware dev. Friday, we're going to do some fun shit. We're going to do, instead of malware dev, we're going to do some bug bounty stuff. Because my New Year's resolution, one of my many New Year's resolutions for the next year is to make like a singular dollar from bug bounty. Because that's been on my list for a long time. Okay, so this isn't complaining anymore, so that's good. JS.insert. So yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of bug bounty stuff. ID and ID. My cat has climbed on top of my server rack. All right, so now we've got our hash map built out as much as we need it to. Let's go up here and yoink this. And throw it here. Would you be doing in any other language? I'm still very new to Rust. I'm learning C2 dev using C#. So my C2 is actually in Python. So you are now the second person tonight to ask about C#. And I'll explain it the same way that I explained it last time. I don't do C# because it reminds me too much of Java. That is one of the one of the reasons why I will never go back to game development in Unity. I can't stand C#. It just makes me angry. So I am thinking about, and since there's a grand total of 5 people watching the stream right now, I'll bounce some ideas off of y'all. I am thinking about occasionally doing some like graphics programming using Rust. Like not necessarily game programming, though it might turn into game programming, but like graphics programming using Rust. Because I think it would be fun. I'm doing some of it with day job, so. All right, client.post c2 addy.toowns plus /add, I think it's advic is what I'm using. And we're throwing in and.js. Don't have a client object yet. Our client is here. So let's throw that down here. Yeah, it's very coincidental that my previous job was as a Unity game dev. Okay, so you're familiar with it. I appreciate people who are familiar with C#. You know, they were forced to have the hand they've got, so I can't hate. But I personally, it gives me flashbacks to having to deal with Java in college and high school, honestly, but mainly college. I went to a college that was behind the curve a little bit, and they taught everything in Java. They didn't teach any other language in their main. They had an assembly class that wasn't required, but everything else was in Java, and it was just miserable. I hate that language more than anything. All right, so let's see how we were doing this up here. So .send, .await, .text, .await. Okay. Functional programming stuff right here. What's the problem here? Oh. .to underscore string. All right, that shouldn't be a problem anymore. And throw this down there. .send, .await, text .await. That will give us our results. Our results should have the body in it. It's not liking this. I think because it's got to be, yep, async. It isn't an async function. That returns a result or an option. Okay. So result is going to return either a string or a box with a dynamic error. And I'm missing some syntax somewhere. It's box dynamic standard error. Okay. But I think I imported standard error up here. I did, because I'm smart. Did I just get a notification, or was that the song? Yeah, that was the song. That song has, it's got a little sound effect, and it's every time the song plays, it has a little sound effect that sounds like my follower notification from like way back. See if it'll play again. Probably won't. Y'all probably think I'm nuts now. Okay. So now we've got to wrap ret. So, okay, ret. So now that should be golden. So let's try init commit. Instead of netlib and username, we're going to run netlib init commit with the username. Except this has got to be an at string. Let's see if we can just get rid of that. Yep, sure can. All right, let's see how this goes. First run. What? We got a first run with no errors? Question mark? That can't be right. Not software that I wrote. Surely not. Okay. So it's unprocessable, which is okay. That's an error that we didn't necessarily not expect. So if we go down to, we may have hit the wrong endpoint, honestly. It's add vic. We want, no, that was right. Post add vic, vic victim. Let's see. It may not be hitting the data model right. Print vic dot to underscore dict. Let's go back up to victim. It's not going to let me control click it because why would it? We want a time and an ID. Let's see what we're sending. We are sending a time and an ID. But still having issues. Can you suggest some resource to learn malware dev in C++ or Python? I'm currently learning from Sector 7. Sector 7 is solid. I'm actually thinking about doing a review of their first class. What's it called? Python for malware. It's called like Evil Python. It's not that. Python malware. It's a book. It's like Evil Python, Black Hat Python. I have not read this. And disclaimer, this is an affiliate link. But Black Hat Python is supposed to be pretty damn good. If you're watching on Twitch, all one of you, I'll throw this in chat as well. Affiliate link, but I heard that this is a fairly good book. Have not read it yet myself because I'm not doing... I mean, I could probably use it for bug bounty stuff, honestly. But yeah, I heard that's a fairly good book. 0x00sec malware section. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out. Appreciate it, OX. I'll check that out. All right, so back here, can we print our JS? Print line. JS getting sent. We're going to throw debug in there and print JS. See if it'll even let us do that. That will also show us whether or not. Okay, that should be fine. JS getting sent, time, ID. Okay. So what I'm betting this is we're getting parsing errors here. The book is awesome, but it's in Python 2. Oh, that sucks. They don't have a Python 3 version? Black Hat Python. So that's 2nd edition. Do they have a 3rd edition out yet? That's the 1st edition, so it's definitely not that. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, that's definitely the newest version. Man, I really hope that they release that soon because I've been recommending that to a lot of people. Huh. So it's looking like we are going to have to go ahead and deal with this parsing bug tonight instead of Wednesday, which is fine. It's going to be in our reg ops, and I think I know what the problem is. So let's look here. Here we are creating a buffer of size 200, right? We are reading into that buffer, and we are eventually getting, yeah, this buff size right here. This buff size is getting written to, okay? So since the buff size is getting written to, I think basically what we can do is grab the actual buffer size from buff size here and resize it. Does that make sense at all? Hopefully. So what we might be able to do is do it right here from 0 to buff size as, it probably has to be as usize. Type string cannot be indexed. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, so we're gonna have to do this up here. String from this is returning a type string. Oh, that was a notification, I think. George Private, thanks for the subscription. Much appreciated. Knew I heard that notification sound. You're always sketching me out with these retracted messages. I know it's probably nothing bad, but it's like 2 or 3 times I've seen retracted messages. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I just got something. Oh, that was an email. All right, so we've got and ret. So let's see. How are we going to do this? Let's trimmed equal to. Actually, I might have been wrong. From 0 to buff size. I may have just put it in the wrong place. So So instead of in that parentheses, let's put it here. Let's issue with that. Type string cannot be indexed by standard ops. Is it because this needs to be a usize? Nope. All right. So let trimmed equal to, let's see, ret from 0 to buff size. Basically, all we have to do is trim this down. Type UI cannot be, so ret standard string from UTF-8 ret from 0 to buff size has an issue with that. Cannot index into a value of type. Okay, so it's got to be dot on wrap. And then it's got an issue with the range. Type string cannot be indexed by standard ops, blah, blah, blah. So it may need to be a string from. Then chunk that in there. Now it's definitely got beef with that. Huh. So what is the type of ret? It's a vector of U8s. So it should have no issue. So let ret equal to ret be from 0 to buff size. Cannot be known at compile time. Trait size does not implement. Oh, okay. So because it's a vector, it doesn't know the size of it at compile time. The type U8 cannot be indexed. So we need a slice. So rust slice of vec. How do I get a slice of vec-t in Rust? That's exactly what I need. By indexing it with the range. It says that I can do it this way. And a from 1 to 4. So it says that I can do this. Might be because, yep, that's all it was. Damn it. All right, so that should fix our issue. Let's see if we can rerun it. Hopefully that will trim it up, and it did, baby. Buff size, let's do -1 because we've got that trailing null byte there. Buff size as usize, -1 as usize. That's annoying. So we fixed that bug like 2 days early, y'all. Who expected that? Can we get pogs in chat? That's the most annoying thing that I have ever heard a streamer say. Like every minor thing. Can we get pogs in chat, y'all? All right, so let's see if it's sending to our C2 correctly. Now that we've fixed that bug. Nope, it's still not sending it correctly. Oh, wait. We haven't it's because we haven't restarted our C2. Like I told, who else remembers me telling you I was going to forget to restart my C2? Now I bet money it's going to work. It didn't, but I did bet money on it. Previous line, what the hell? Get vex, JS. Why does it have an issue with that? Maximum we have recursion? How did we get recursion? Poggers. All right, so running 2dict there. Vicdict is equal to that. Curvex push. So where are we getting our recursion? JS is equal to getVex. Where am I? What? Dad? On line 56. It absolutely is. We're 100% getting. Okay, I see what I did here. We named an endpoint the same as our helper function. Dict. JS is equal to getVix dict. There we go. That should have fixed it. All right, hit our box. Let's see if it worked. We're still getting recursion errors. Did I forget to save something? Still saying same line. JS is equal to getVix dict. Okay, now we should have fixed everything. Hit that, hit this, hit that, hit this. Key error victims. Okay, that's all right. Line 42. Weirdly enough, actually there's an awesome metamorphic malware written in Rust. It's open source. I think you can implement some of its code to your malware. Ooh, share that. Share the hell out of that. OX gets a special shout out for that. Oh, cool. I've got two advic endpoints. Man, I'm making a mess of the C2. The funniest part is this stream was supposed to be all about the C2, and I've been fixing more bugs in my malware and creating more bugs in my C2. Really great stuff there. That's just completely backwards because I've been a back-end programmer for ages and a Rust programmer for like 30 seconds. Great stuff there. Hit our box. Time is not defined. Ugh. Time is not defined. Line 18 and 2dict. Self.time. See, stupid errors like that. Just infuriating. Run it again. All of this should be working. Getfix, key error victims. Again. I bet what we did was we overwrote victims at some point. No, didn't do that. This is in line, let's see, 66. Getfix. Pull up to getfix. Let's see what we're supposed to be calling getfix dict. This is annoying. Again, just dumb errors. Because I'm not doing naming well. I'm gonna refactor all of this shit so that I stop making dumb errors on like naming convention. List object has no attribute push. It's because push is the JavaScript version, and I actually meant append. Again, stupid errors. So by the way, I know that there is a watch function on Uvicorn. For some reason, I get errors every time I use it, so I just don't bother with it anymore. Stream should be titled Coding Malware and Introducing Bugs in Your C2. Honest to God, I might change the title to that, like in your honor, Darko, because that's more accurate than anything. This is, again, just dumb errors. Line 72. Yeah, so it's supposed to be JSON.dumps. This is stuff that like I've been doing a billion times in my career, but because I'm bouncing back and forth between programming languages, I'm getting it like all mind fogged. All right, eventually we are going to get a code 200 on this. Line 1, column 1. Immediately had an error. ID is that, time is that. Should be dealing with no issues there. We're dealing with a problem. Getting a problem in our getfixdict, actually. JSON.loads, f.read. Did we overwrite? Yeah, we overwrote it. That's what happened. I was like, I know I've dealt with this error before. Yeah, that's so whenever you screw up in your Python code that writes to a JSON file and it overrides it with nothing, then you get the incredibly useful error. Hold on. Wait for it. Expecting value line 1, column 1, car 0. Just so useful. Just incredible error messages there, Python. So that's why I knew immediately that I overwrote my JSON file, because I've dealt with that headache so many times. Right, get a run, and we've got a 200 OK. Let's see if it wrote correctly. Victims.json, and we are golden, ladies and gents. We have officially added victims. That's pretty neat, huh? All right, so let me look at my goals for this stream. Goals for this stream. Handy dandy notebook. C2 storing data, did that. Create victim endpoint, did that. Ladies and gents, we're done for the night. We've been going an hour and 15 minutes and actually got shit done this stream. So, next stream, Wednesday. We're gonna implement process enumeration. And we've already fixed the string termination, so we can cross that baby off. Finished that. And we've got to work on process enumeration on Wednesday. Cross off Monday stream. Y'all, this has been, I've actually gotten okay at Rust. I'm not trying to get cocky here, but I've gotten super all right at Rust. Or at least I've gotten all right at debugging Rust. that I've had a lot of practice with. Okay, so appreciate all of y'all showing up to the stream. It's been lively in YouTube chat at least. Twitch, you've been dead, but you know, what's new? So appreciate all of y'all. I will see you again on Wednesday at 8:30.